It has been 7 days since Hurricane Sandy tore across the East Coast, causing an estimated $50 billion in damage. One of the hardest hit communities, New York's Breezy Point, where tonight 2 of our producers returned to the ruins to thank the people who helped them get out alive. Here's ABC's Juju Chang.
Basically, this is all of the remains of Irving Walk.
It's crazy. 100 homes gone.
It was an emotional journey back to Breezy Point, New York.
The whole house is gone.
To look for people they'd last seen as Sandy tore into this shore community and they were running for their lives.
We knew there was going to be water and we knew there was going to be wind, but I think the last thing we thought was the fire.
Jim DuBreuil and Keturah Gray were here on assignment for ABC News, the only journalists inside this gated community.
It's like the apocalypse is hit.
When amid 80-mile-an-hour winds and a 13-foot storm surge, a fire erupted and began jumping house to house.
We still have all night long.
This is a parking lot. There were all cars back here. It's all gone.
This is what Breezy looked like when Jim and Keturah first arrived on the eve of the Superstorm.
So you guys came out here to do a story about the holdouts.
The people that didn't want to leave, the people that wanted to protect their homes.
We're just going to check on her.
Mary LaPera introduced them to her neighbors who, in spite of an evacuation order, had decided to ride out the storm. They all lived here on Irving Walk, the Cooks, the Heslins.
Are you guys okay?
And the O'Hanlons. When the storm first rolled in,
It's in our front yard.
Mary and her sister Joanne were defiant.
When there's waves starting to crash right here, then I'll start to be a little concerned.
Oh my God.
Then the fire broke out.
I'm really anxious.
This was the couch, and we were all sitting here,
You were sitting on this couch.
looking out this window and seeing the fire coming right at us.
Were it not for Joe Aldenofi, they might not have made it out alive.
Can I hug you?
I should never have really stayed. We should have evacuated, but I'm glad I stayed and was able to help a few people.
Joe is an off-duty New York City firefighter. He led the group through murky, waist-deep water to his house.
I was facing a fire on one side and I saw you on the other and I was like, I can do this.
But there was no stopping this blaze. They had to flee Joe's house, too. All 4 of Breezy's emergency vehicles were dead in the water. The town's all-volunteer fire department was forced to evacuate people on boats.
So you're pounding on doors and telling people, get out.
You know, you got 2 minutes, and if you're not out in 1, we're breaking the door down and we're going to pull you out.
Brian Doyle is a volunteer fireman. He was on duty that night. Jim and Keturah ended up here at St. Thomas More Church.
Right now, we're in a church. There's about 40 of us that are, as we speak, are about to be evacuated and taken out of here on a bus. This is a community that lost the most people during 9/11 of firefighters and cops. This community was hit horribly tonight.
This is the first Sunday Mass since the floodwaters receded from these pews.
Hurricane Sandy has given us a lot to think about, a lot to pray about.
And this is Irving Walk now. The houses gone.
Oh my God!
Their residents all survived.
We jumped out of our house, man, running for our lives, and we swam down this walk.
But the firefighters who saved them, their fire trucks, hoses, even their radios, were all lost. Today, they're limping out on calls. One came in while we were there, with borrowed gear on borrowed trucks. This one turned out to be a false alarm. But the community of Breezy is clearly vulnerable. And in these conditions, it's obvious it isn't just the fire department that's in need. This place, and so many others like it, up and down the coast, from the Rockaways to Staten Island to the Jersey Shore, all need help to rise from the ashes.
We'll get through this. We'll rebuild the Purvis house and we'll fix my house and we'll be back to having parties on the back deck.
Parties on the back deck.
You gotta think like that.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in Breezy Point, New York.
Our thanks to the people of Breezy, as well as Juju, Jim, and Keturah.